And hello, and welcome back. Welcome back to Win-Win Women and Choose Happiness, Choose You. As you can see, today is another day that I have a guest. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. This time the guest is also going to speak English. As you know, sometimes we do German, so you always got to be ready for a surprise. This young lady that you see here with all of those pictures in the back, I've known her now for what, like about 2, I don't know, 4 or
No,
5.
almost three. I would say almost 3 years. Don't you
I
think?
know. I just met somebody who said the last 2 years don't exist. So whenever she says last year, it's 2019. So that gets me confused.
Nope. I think it's 3 years. I think we met right in March of 2019, around in there, I think.
Yeah. See?
Okay.
So last year. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And she goes by the name of Goldy Locks. So you see her hair. I've got the locks.
Yep.
She's got the gold. But I wanted to invite her today because she does so many things, not just for herself, but also for others. And
Oh,
with everything that you do, Goldie, the first question I ask before I get you to talk a little bit about yourself is, what does happiness mean to you?
happiness means to me is taking the negative and flipping it, because I was brought up in a pretty dismal, dismal household. So, as much as I wish it came out rainbows right out of the gate, I'm going to be real transparent and real honest. So to me, happiness, when I think of it, means no drama. So again, I'm not trying to be negative, Natalie, Dr. Forrest. I'm just saying, I just don't like drama. I am a simple person, even though I'm not, but if you knew me, I'm very simple. I like the simple things in life that, I guess, so not negative, not no drama, but just simplicity means happiness to me. What I do for a living and how I keep the lights on is so crazy and chaotic, and what lots of people dream of, but they don't always understand what goes into that or what comes along with it. So to me, when I get off the road, when we're not touring, I would love to just look at a blank wall or enjoy complete silence, or the thing that makes me the most happy. And you would totally get this with everything that I do, is just to go sit outside on my back steps, and have got 2 feral cats, and they come running and they just want to be pet. And I give them little treats. I give them temptations. And it sounds so stupid, dumb, simple, but it's just hearing the birds singing, smelling the air, and being grateful that I'm alive is the thing that makes me the most happy. And then being around other wonderful people and just laughing, having friends. And there's so many people that are out there that, I don't have any friends, or I'm disabled and I'm locked up at home. You know what? Boo-hoo. You can meet a friend in 2 seconds flat, get online, go to a chat room, find a group somewhere with the people that share like interests, or just go out to the grocery store or to the local little place to eat, and just smile at people and open your heart to opportunities that maybe there's somebody else there that would love to meet a new friend. So those are the simple things in life mean more to me than anything. And especially after the pandemic, if you can't see after all of that at the end of the day, like really all that you have is your family and your health and the friends around you and your peace of mind. But those are all things that contribute to happiness. How about you? What makes you happy?
No. Don't turn it back at me. The audience
No, but
already knows what I
I see you love a lot of things in nature, and you go for walks, and it sounds cheeseola, but it's so good for your heart and your soul and your everything.
It is, you say the simple things, but the simple things are really the ones that I think help us connect. And, I'm always waiting for one of my cats to jump up here onto the screen during one of my shows. One is always sitting where I am at. So it's that calmness, that peace, and that connection, whether you connect with the sound of a bird, or hug a tree, or it's a cat, or a dog, or I did a show once about, cats, dogs, what do you prefer? Because it is whatever speaks to you. And so the simple things, I think, are necessary for us to remember. Now, while you were talking, you said the things that you do and when you're on the road. So I know you do more than on the road, but share with the audience, and I'll give them a little bit of an intro here, because International Women's Day 2020 two. That's what we have right now. Goldy Locks and the Goldy Locks band actually participated in the International Women's Day event that we hosted. We were able to play one of her beautiful songs there that was, of course, aired worldwide. So, therefore, I know that you are singing and that might be on the road. Tell us about that, what got you into that, and some of the other more fun and interesting things in your background.
Yeah, I've been singing. I started dancing. I ran away from home. I just knew there was a busy street on the way to turn on to our little blocks, very grid-like where I grew up in the city. Everything was alphabetized, numerical. You just jumped to each one. You knew where you were, but there was a busy street, Lowry Avenue in North Minneapolis, home of Prince and all of that, Minneapolis Sound and all that great stuff. And I saw glass with mirrors inside and people dancing. And I just thought that looked like fun. So, so I just ran away. I didn't even ask. I just left and walked almost a mile to go to this place. Well, I didn't have an ID back then. When you're 3, you usually don't. Right. Literally a toddler walking down the street, but I knew where it was. And they figured out somehow, I don't know if it was through the church or whatever, who I belonged to. So they enrolled me in dancing the next day.
Yes,
and I started,
job.
Yeah, I started dancing, but I stunk. I was a terrible dancer. I ADHD kicked in. I was looking all around, and for a time I wanted to close my eyes and dance. And then all the other kids were closing their eyes and people were bleeding and going to the doctor and hospital because they were smashing into each other. It was like a 3-year-old mosh pit at an early age. So anyway, they're like, this dancing isn't really working out, but we want to take your money and we want you to stay. Can you sing? So I started singing, literally professionally, getting paid to sing in big concert halls when I was like 4. So always singing, always doing that. Mm-hmm. Fast forward, right around that time, a relative of ours was a famous graphic designer and painter. He would paint photos of children that would go into a book. Before they were photographed, it was a painting of the kids, and this book would be bound and it would be sent to all the big department stores throughout the nation. And they would look through and say, well, we're looking for a little blonde girl or a little redheaded boy with freckles or a Dr. Natalie Forrest lookalike. And they would look at the portraits that he would paint. And he said, this she's a good looking kid. You should get her into modeling and acting. And my parents did. And I started in the entertainment business like that. Wow. So you get older and you don't fit into the clothes because they only want you when you're a size 10, because that apparently is the big selling size, and they only want commercials with the kids that are 10. And you try other things. You try TV, you try other acting, stage. I did Little Orphan Annie off Broadway for a couple of years. And, you do things. And then that turned into, I'm in a band, and then I got a record deal. Now I'm in this band and that band, and you go on the road because the point of it is to grow a fan base, a support base. Wow. And the best way to do that is just to get out there, which a lot of people don't understand. And it's dying. Yeah. It's been dying for a while, but now during COVID with all the streaming and everything, like people just don't understand. You've got to get out face to face and meet somebody and touch their lives in a way and connect with them. Like you were saying, connecting, figure out something you can do to entertain them. That's your job. And that's what I do. I do that 2 or 3 days, whenever, 2 or 3 days a week. I do photography. I've got a beautiful photography studio here where I shoot a lot of the people that I meet on the road. If you're smart, you're thinking about, when I connect with somebody, can they help me? Can I help them? Or could they help me help a friend or something? Like that's really good when you can just like connect people like you do, introduce them. So, I mean, that's just a little bit of what I do. I deal with wonderful people all day, and I deal with creeps. That's my job. I am an emotional support dog to many people throughout the world, and I am happy to do that. I just kind of keep going. I rarely get down. I don't know why. I guess I just don't have the time. But when I do get down, holy crap, it's massive depression.
Yes.
And then I just have to just yell at myself and say, get up, knock it off. Which a lot of people like don't. And I know you're a very firm believer in this. Like you're of the mindset of, don't ever speak negatively of yourself. And I get that. And I am from
we sometimes do. We still sometimes do.
I'm old school. I am just like, coach, come on, let's get it done. And I have to be my own coach because I don't always like to tell people that I am so down. And then what I do is I get up physically, do something, open the back door and go sit on the steps and wait for those dreadful little beasts to come want some temptations. And all of a sudden seeing something else, stimulating your brain with something beautiful, transcends you,
Transcendent.
transcends you to a different, no, transports you. Let's do another, transports you to a different place in time. So, I mean, that's really it. But you deal with a lot of really, if you think about your job, and if your job is more structured, like the typical 9 to 5, you go to a place, you know, the people, you're there, you know, my job, or sales people that travel, or independent contractors, like it's different because you just come in contact with so many different souls, which can be really good and it can be really bad. So you better figure out how to get happy fast and how to just shake off any negativity or anything that happens where you just need to like leave it at the office, even though there is no office.
And I think it's normal. And I think a friend of ours, a common friend of ours, posted something on Facebook actually today. And, you know, I put in there, you know, I don't normally talk negative to myself, but that doesn't mean there are not days when you're just, you know, something comes out. You're like, oh, you're so stupid. And like, no, hold on. That's not how you say it. You say, this was stupid. But, you know, we're all human. We all have those moments, sometimes longer than we want to. So in all of that, so you're out on the road, and your backstory, did you ever really have a choice in becoming a performer?
Yes.
By that, I mean, did you ever really choose it, or was it sort of put onto you, other than when you were 3 years old?
Nope, it was my choice. If anything, it was put on me not to do it. I had 2 full scholarships that I walked away from because it just wasn't for me. Academically, lots of money that I left on the table. It just wasn't for me. I don't do well with that sort of schedule. And, you know, there's a lot of people that, well, who would want to have a boss or whatever, but being your own boss means you don't get to come home at 5 or 6. It means you literally I work 18 to 20 hours a day, and I'm happy to do that. You need to rest. Well, I'm resting right now. I'm in my studio. Got my little blanket on my lap, but I'm, you know, just finding comfort in something fuzzy, and I'm happy with that. And so I've always wanted to create, whether it's content, which I was doing a long time before there ever was the internet or whatever. We were making silly videos and things that taught people how to make crafts or save money or clean up their house or just be better in some way, shape, or form. Like, that was fun to do. And singing and writing songs. I couldn't write papers. I tried. I would come home and try to write my report, and there's a keyboard, and, oh, but look at this beat, and this is a cool riff. And it wasn't for me. And I've done okay for myself, and I'm very proud of that, but had a lot of help. I would never be where I'm at right now without a ton of help from a lot of people. Like, I've really been blessed. I know that.
That's awesome. Now, the way that you explain it, and by the way, audience, we did not, you know, talk about some of the stuff before. Some of the stuff I'm learning right now. But what you just said, that you actually chose it, and then that you left money on the table for the scholarships, that to me is like the epitome of the title of the show: Choose Happiness, Choose You. So you knew what was going to work for you, and you chose you, instead of saying, oh, the money is good, oh, the scholarship, oh, I can get these degrees. You were like, no, it's not for me. So you went inside and said, okay, kind of silly, but I'm just going to choose what's right for me. That takes a lot of strength.
It was bad. My dad didn't talk to me for 3 years. He was so furious with me that how could I do that? I was an embarrassment to the family. He didn't want to. He was just very angry. My dad's got his own issues. God bless him. He's still alive. I love him. We have a great relationship. But, you know, my dad gives me the silent treatment. And I look now when my bandmates don't talk to me, or when, you know, we were just talking about a mutual friend earlier. And it's like, when they don't respond to you, I have to work really hard to not take that personally, even though it has nothing to do with me. It's just, I come from leaving a lot of money on the table, left 2 full scholarships to private schools, like amazing stuff for music, for international business and communication and languages. And my dad didn't talk to me for 3 years. And, you know, it took a lot to I feel like I'm still always trying to like prove to him, like, look, I can
Mhm.
do it. But now it's a different why. Now it's like, I need to do better than I'm doing right now because I not only need to take care of myself, but he's getting older. Like
Yeah.
I need to get that guy a house and sooner than later. And that sounds like, oh, you're pie in the sky. But in my business,
Yeah.
one contract can mean a good chunk of change. And I have everything that I need. I am happy, which I tell him all the time. You may not be able to say that your kid's making millions of dollars right now, like some of your relatives, some of my relatives' kids are, but can they say they are as happy as I am? Because
Yeah.
I'm happy as shit.
Yes.
I am
Yeah.
happy as shit, Dr. Forrest. I
That's
love
an
my
interesting
life.
combination. I never thought about it that
Happy
way.
as shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. But I mean, I think that is so important that to choose yourself, and you have had an illustrious career already, and there's so much more coming. You've had TV shows, you've done the wrestling thing and tried to teach me some of the wording, and I forgot most of it, but
Arnie
I
talk.
tried it once or twice and it worked. And in that, while you're happy, while you're okay, while you're having fantastic days, and then a few moments of not so great, you also do a lot for other people. Not just that you listen to everybody who complains to you, but you also work on charitable causes, for lack of a better term.
Oh,
Um, and so, why do you do that? Like, what is it that drives you to care about cancer, to want to go to hospitals and perform at hospitals so that people get some music? Where does that come from?
I don't know. I do know maybe subconsciously with a terminally ill mom growing up my whole life with
Mhm.
Crohn's disease, heart failure, kidney failure. Um, there's so many things like, when somebody's got a problem nearby, or you'll say to somebody, how are you? Do we really want to hear? And I rhetorically ask, do we want to hear the answer to that question and sit and listen to somebody's complaining and their ailments and the bunions on their toes and their backache? And I care. I don't really want to listen to all of that
Mhm.
because I'm like a dude and I have a high testosterone. I'm a pro wrestler. I'm very, very boy in all ways. And what does that mean? It means what it means. It means that women like to talk a lot and they like to bitch and complain. But a lot of times my female friends just want to complain when I say, all right, let's get this handled. X, Y, and Z, A, B, or C. I've got some tools in my trunk. No, I just want to complain. I just want to complain. I'm like, no, I want to fix it. So when I see somebody that needs help,
Mhm.
I want to immediately find out if they're a candidate for help. Do they even want
Mhm.
change? Do they even want to lose weight? Do they even want to fix their cancer? Because I'll smack the crap out of somebody, especially if they're like, well, I have cancer and I have lung cancer and you're smoking,
Yeah.
and I get hot. I get pissed. It's like, you want me to feel sorry for you and you want to confide in me and you're doing something like I will help you, but you've got to make some changes. Now
Mhm.
it's a toss up 50% of those women that are being abused really want my help and I can help them. And 50% of those women just want to go right back to the same old thing that they
Mhm.
know. I can't
Mhm.
tell you how many times our vehicle that I'm always saying, we need people to chip in. We need to get a new vehicle.
Right.
Yeah, we tour in that, but I also go haul ass with chicks that are like, Goldie, I need help. And I'm like, well, what can I do? Well,
Mhm.
I need to get out of my place. I need to pick a time. He's going to hurt me. But all right, well, let's plan it. Let's figure out first off, how much money do you make? How much can you
Right.
hide? And where can you get some from? Where are you going to live?
Mhm.
Who are you going to stay with? Can you get a place? Like, let's get the logistics out of the way and let's reach out to a couple resources that I know of. If you're serious, like, are you sick and
Right.
tired of being sick and tired? Are you sick and tired of being beat and hit and disrespected and talked down to and just everything? And if you
Mhm.
are, I'll go balls to the wall to help you. And then usually, like, I remember the guy came home. Now, luckily, I'm bigger than he was, and that didn't go very well for him. But we got her out of there. Without a physical fight, like I was gonna choke him out. Got her out of there. Everything was good. Shaking, trembling. Get her into place to stay. Got her a place for 6 months free to live. And
Mhm.
then what does she do? She invites the guy over
Of course.
after we find her a secret hiding place. So I'm not jaded. I tend to proceed with with caution and give the next person the benefit of the doubt. But like, I see people that need it. What can I do without sitting and listening, blah, 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 forever. Like, what is in your arsenal of what you can do right now? Do you know a resource? Do you have a couple extra dollars that you can help somebody with? Could you buy somebody groceries? Could you go to the Ronald McDonald House, which is in the States, which is a place for children? Yeah. And could you go offer them pre-COVID a 45-minute or an hour little concert wherever you could pull up some chairs and have some kids sit up in beds and listen to their favorite songs? I realized quickly that it wasn't for those kids. A lot of them were going to die the next day. It was for the parents. And I'll never forget Minneapolis, Minnesota, years ago, watching a mom start sobbing profusely when we sang Jesse's Girl by Rick Springfield. And I was just like looking at my band going, should we stop? Like, this lady's almost having a seizure. And she was just choking out and just go. And I was like, all right, just get through the show. So we finished it. And the first thing I did is rush over to her and say, I'm so sorry. Did I do something to offend you or upset you? And her response was, no, fighting back the tears, holding her kid's hand. She said, you were singing that song. And I went back to a time that I was at a school dance and they played that song, and I was so happy, and I just got lost. And then I remembered, oh my God, wait, I'm a parent and my child has got a couple of days to live. And I felt so selfish, and how dare I have a good time? And I was like, all right, we've got to do more of this, because maybe it'll just bring a smile to somebody's face for like a little while. It brought her to, and again, remove yourself, have the Buddhist Taoist mentality. It's not about me. It's not about the band, yada, yada, yada. It's about, we have a vehicle to convey something, to connect with some emotion, with nostalgia, with a memory, and create a false sense of reality, like a drug that's healthier. Thank you for a minute for this woman. That's why we do that kind of stuff. That's why I do that.
But it's not a fault. I mean, we always say entertainment is an escape from reality, right? But at the same time, like in the work that I do, when somebody ends up crying, I know I've done my job, which sounds kind of stupid, but it is, because the emotions need to come out. Otherwise, they could just get stacked up and then they explode sometimes. So I think, that's where the music comes in, and that you walked right over trying to figure out what's going on. Of course, that shows how you care. In that, though, you're doing a show, because I know you on the one hand, you are very structured, very male-like, boy-like, but you also have feelings, right?
Oh, sure.
So when you see the mom crying, these kids are going to die tomorrow, or half of them. The dad's crying, or you're helping somebody who is probably going to go back to the abusive boyfriend just because that's what they've been trained to do. How do you deal with that on your end? Because on the one hand, of course, you're disassociating, but there are feelings. So how do you, in that scenario, make sure that you're okay?
I reflect on the fact that I am so glad that I am not that person anymore, because there was a time when I was in an abusive relationship after an abusive relationship. So I reflect back again with gratitude and thanks to God Almighty that I am in a different place, and give the next person a chance. Like I said, the benefit of the doubt. All you can do is offer a few words. I pick and choose these days, though. I pick and choose who I give advice to. I kind of walk lightly and then just throw out a few things and see if maybe something from my past or my incredible experiences, because it's not the norm, and many things. I've lived a long, very full life for not that old, but I've lived a real thick life of a lot of life lessons that I hope nobody goes through, from that to abuse to bankruptcy to all kinds of things. And I hear people just throwing around terms, and I'm like, I don't mean to get in your business, but you can't write that off. And if you think that if you get an audit that's going to pass, let me tell you, it's not, and oh, well, my tax guy, and I'm like, all right, well, that's great. Your tax guy doesn't know anything. And let me tell you, I've been through it, and this is what happens. So either listen to what I have to say or keep, and you know what, man, I've got some younger friends that they take some of the stuff that I say like the Bible. And I'm just and I remember one person I won't get into it, but I reamed him for something. And I said, what are you doing? Like, don't do that. And they're like, well, what are you talking about? And I'm like, are you crazy? Don't do that. And this is why. And I embarrassed them. And they're like, how dare you embarrass me in front of everybody? And I'm like, because I couldn't believe you were that stupid. So before you went and did something that dumb, I'm going to call it out. I'm sorry. I should have done it in private, but I had to, or you were going to do something really dumb, really dumb. And to this day, he's like, oh God, I'm so glad you embarrassed me in front of everybody. Like, I can't believe I would have done something that, I'm just like, dude, when opportunities come across upon you like that, take it and run. Like, and don't wave it in the air and say, look what I got. Like, no, less said, save your money, be smart. Don't be like me, but I'm glad that some people do listen, but I guess I just reflect back that I'm in a different place. And I feel like that wise old bird with the lolly. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? There was like a wise old bird sitting on a tree eating his lollipop from Tootsie Roll, and he'd lick 1, 2, and 3. And then the third one, he just crunched the whole thing. And he'd go, I guess it takes 3 licks to get to the center, because it had like a candy in the middle of it. So I'm glad to be that wise old plump bird. I'm sitting on the tree, and I find solace in that. And there's people that just chase I'm getting older. Like, oh God, I'm so glad I'm not 19 or 20 years old anymore. Oh, and I sure as hell wouldn't want to be one now. And I know Felicity is getting on there, and just keep being a good mom to her. But man, in this world, I'll pass. I'm glad I'm like the age that I am. I'm glad I know a few things. I find comfort in that.
Yeah, absolutely. It is, so there are days when I don't want to have all the responsibilities, but on the other hand, going all the way back, oh, hell no. All right, we're almost out of time. So you're a musician, you're a TV host, you used to work in wrestling, you still know a lot about that. Yep. You don't just have one show, you have a lot of shows, you have a lot of podcasts, you write for the Los Angeles Tribune.
Yes, need 2 more.
You do a lot of charity, photography, you sometimes direct and edit your own videos for the Goldy Locks band. Yeah. Okay, so how do people get in touch with you?
Oh, it's so easy. Just Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Twitter's, Instagram are, the prime ones, and Facebook, I get a little lost, but just at the @ Goldy, Goldy, Goldy Locks Rocks. That's it. Goldy, Locks, Rocks. You can look up the Goldy with a Y Locks band, our website. It's so easy. Just Google one thing about Goldy Locks with a Y, and any and every way possible will come up to find me. Just don't send me inappropriate pictures, because I already have enough today.
All right. Now, really the last question. What is the next song that you and the Goldy Locks band will create a video for? Because I haven't seen a new announcement yet.
So this sounds so fun, but we are all saving money from every paycheck that we get. And every couple of days we check in with each other, and I think we've got $800 left to save for. And then we're getting a really amazing director that's coming out from Los Angeles, who has agreed to do this video for like probably 80% less than what he should. And this video is an original song. The name of the song is called Just Say Yes. And the whole video is going to take place in a different era. And it's going to be the 70s, and it's going to be hysterical. It's really funny, and it's not what you would think at all. I don't think I've ever seen a video like this ever, but it's going to be very nostalgic. It'll make people laugh. I know it'll get a lot of shares, but it's really meant to just make people laugh. That is the sole purpose of it. And, we allocate our money, like we're all the shirts that you ordered shirts from us, that only goes for the bus. That only goes for the bus. And then you have to come up with little envelopes that are all segregated. Like, this is only for stage clothes, and this is only for an award show that we need to go to that you pay for. You pay to go to those award shows, so even $10 every show, it goes in a little envelope. So we have $800 to get. And then once we meet our quota, then we book a date. And then I've got some dancers to hire and some really cool things to do. Oh my God, I can't wait for you to see this video. It's going to be so much fun. It's just fun.
Yeah. Well, the 70s, that reminds me of my youth, the good old
Well, oh,
days.
it's you will laugh at the content of this because it's not what you think. It's something
Okay.
really random about the 70s that you'll be like, oh my God, I had that. So that's all I'm gonna say.
All right. I'll be on the lookout, and so will the audience. Goldie, thank you. And we actually got this all done in the time we have.
Perfect.
So thank you, Goldie. Thanks to the audience. If you want to get in touch with me, you know how to find me. I will see you all next week, same time, same place.
Thanks for
Bye.
watching, everybody. Stay golden.